lives are shaped in empty hands. Some lives are shaped in crowns of gold. But both are written in the same sky. Both are stories the Spirit holds. No path is free from hidden testing. No heart escapes its chosen flame. For every soul is placed in balance between glory and restraint. I saw the weight of quiet suffering. I saw the burden of success. And both were asking different questions of what it means to truly bless. For poverty can teach surrender, and wealth can teach the soul to fall. But neither guarantees the answer to what is truth beyond it all. The heart is tested in its hunger. The heart is tested in its pride. And only those who see the balance can walk the narrow guide. The test of riches and of silence, the test of power and of pain, both reveal what lies within us, both remove what is in vain. For every gift becomes a question, for every gain becomes a door, and only love can make the difference between the less and more. The strong may think they hold tomorrow. The poor may think they are alone. But every breath is still a passage to what the Spirit has shown. No soul is greater in possession. No soul is lesser in its need. For all are students of the lesson that only truth can lead. And in the quiet of reflection, and in the noise of desire, the soul is shaped by what it chooses, as to rise or to expire. The test of riches and of silence, the test of power and of pain, both reveal what lies within us, both remove what is in vain. For every gift becomes a question, for every gain becomes a door, and only love can make the difference between the less and more. If wealth is given, let it serve. If lack is given, let it teach. For every state is still a doorway to something just beyond reach. And neither crown nor empty pocket defines the soul's true worth. Only the way it walks in wisdom gives meaning to its birth. So let me not be lost in heaven, nor broken in the lack I see, but find the truth in every moment that not lack, but truth within.
Before the world demands my effort, before the weight of daily days, there is a calling deep within me that shapes my steps in quiet ways. Not only hands were made for building, not only strength defines the soul, for every breath becomes a purpose, and every moment plays a role. I used to think that rest was freedom, that stopping in a peace unknown. But silence taught me something deeper, that life itself must still be sown. For even in the stillest morning, when nothing seems to move or grow, a hidden work is still unfolding in places only spirit knows. No soul was meant for emptiness, no heart for idle time. For even thoughts become a pathway when guided by divine. There is a sacred work within me, beyond the tools my hands can hold. A labor of becoming wiser, a story still unfolding told. Let my effort be with meaning, let my purpose not be pride. For every act of true compassion is where your presence hides. Oh, some chase the world through endless motion, some lose themselves in passing gain. But I have learned that deeper calling is found beyond reward and pain. To build a life that serves another, to lift a weight that is not mine, to turn the simple act of living into something more divine. And when my strength begins to tremble, when weariness takes name, remind me that even broken effort can still reflect your flame. There is a sacred work within me, beyond the tools my hands can hold. A labor of becoming wiser, a story still unfolding told. Let my effort be with meaning, let my purpose not be pride. For every act of true compassion is where your presence hides. Oh, even those who seem forgotten, even those who stand alone, carry work that heaven values in ways not always shown. For nothing done in love is wasted, no honest effort disappears. Every step of true devotion echoes through eternal years. So let my work become my worship, let my effort be your song. And if I grow in strength or weakness, may both still lead me on. For the law of life is movement, and the law of soul is light, and within each act of purpose You are present day and night, not just labor, but becoming. Not just effort, but divine becoming. No throne of earth can change what heaven has spoken. No season can erase what truth has written. Before the roads of men were opened, your wisdom already filled eternity. Your law was never born from changing voices, never rewritten by the winds of time. Kings have risen and disappeared, but your truth remained alive. I searched in books and endless questions. I crossed the deserts of my own desire. Yet every distant road returned me to the quiet place where your light speaks. What you create does not grow old. What you establish does not fade. The world keeps moving, but your hand remains. Oh, write your law inside my spirit. Teach my heart what love requires. Not by fear and not by power, but by mercy and holy fire. Show me good beyond appearance. Show me truth beyond my sight. If I walk according to your wisdom, even the darkest road becomes light. Oh, some study stars and hidden matter. Some seek answers inside the sea. But deeper than the laws of nature lives the law you planted in me. Every lesson becomes a doorway. Every lifetime another climb. Too much remains beyond my vision, yet your voice arrives on time. When pride confuses understanding, when my reason loses way, your silence becomes direction, and your peace begins to stay. Write your law inside my spirit. Teach my heart what love requires. Not by fear and not by power, but by mercy keeps turning, but your truth remains. And inside every searching soul, your eternal law still sings. I search for truth in endless places, in voices loud and systems made by men. But every road that carried wisdom returned me to one simple word: love. You wrote your law before the mountains, before the oceans found their shore. And through the ages people wandered, still asking what they were created for. Some built rules without compassion, yeah. Some carried faith without the flame. But heaven never changed its answer. Love has always stayed the same. Not empty words, not borrowed light. Your law becomes alive when mercy leads the heart. Love is the highest law, the greatest road to follow. More than sacrifice, more than promises tomorrow. Teach me to live for others. Teach me to walk in grace. For every soul I lift in kindness brings me closer to your face. I cannot measure holy goodness only by the things I say. For every act becomes a mirror, showing what I truly obey. If I seek only my own comfort, if I close my hands in fear, then all my prayers become like echoes that disappear. Your truth is not a burden, your wisdom is not changed. What heaven asks from every spirit is love that remains. Love is the highest law, the greatest road to follow. More than sacrifice, more than promises tomorrow. Teach me to live for others. Teach me to walk in grace. For every soul I lift in kindness brings me closer to your face. Adoration, work, progress, freedom, justice, charity. Every path becomes complete when love is under love, love. When the mist clears, will I remember who I was? Will the noise disappear and leave only what was love? When the mist clears, will I still hold these names, or only carry forward what forever remains? I walked through years collecting moments, holding tightly what would fade, thinking every little memory would remain exactly the same. But now I see from higher places that not all things survive the light. Some become soft, distant echoes, some dissolve into the night. And what once seemed so very urgent becomes smaller than the sea. Yet every act of grace and mercy returns quietly to me. Not forgotten, not erased, only seen through different eyes. When the mist clears, I will remember differently. Not every seed, but every lesson, oh, inside of me. And I will laugh with gentle sorrow at fears that once controlled my days, because the soul keeps what transforms it and leaves the shadows in the haze. There are names I once protected, dreams I thought I could not lose, yet standing closer to forever, I begin to understand the truth. No life was empty, no pain was wasted, no season came without a seed. And every road I traveled blindly was teaching something I would need. What remains is not possession, not success and not applause, but who I became inside the silence when nobody saw. Father, if one day I remember my journey more clearly, do not let me feel shame. Let me look at my old mistakes with mercy. Let me see the child I was, the proud man I became, the moments I forgot you, and the moments you never forgot me.
Teach me not to cling to things that disappear. Teach me to keep only what becomes light. And if parts of me must fade, let them fade peacefully. So what remains looks more like you. Amen.
That changed me. And if tomorrow reveals my story, may I receive it with peace, because nothing true is ever lost. It only becomes clearer one day. Everything will make sense.
Before the stars were burning, before the rivers found the sea, there was a voice still speaking, calling all things into being. And every law that holds creation still whispers quietly to me, return, return, return to me. I search for answers in the changing, built my truth from shifting sand, thinking freedom and escaping every line I could not understand. But morning comes to every wanderer, and silence teaches what words hide. There is a wisdom older than the mountains, still alive inside. The sun does not forget its rising, the ocean does not choose its tide. And maybe peace was never missing, maybe I only walked aside. The laws of heaven do not tremble, only hearts that run away. Written before the stars, before the first breath came, there was already mercy, there was already flame. Your truth does not grow older, your love does not decay. And when I lose my direction, your voice still shows the way. Men rewrite their own commandments, every age creates new names, yet eternity keeps moving, unaffected by our games. What is true remains unbroken, what is holy does not bend, and every life becomes a journey
Teach me not to confuse change with truth. Teach me not to worship my own understanding. When I do not understand your ways, let me still trust your goodness. When life becomes uncertain, anchor me to what does not move. Write your wisdom inside me, not as fear, not as obligation, but as something alive, something beautiful, something that makes my soul remember home. And if I must learn slowly, walk beside me until I understand. They are the road back to you. Nothing eternal was ever created by chance. Even when the night divided us, even when our hearts forgot, there was something still unbroken, something time could never stop. If love was true, if grace remained, then no distance was forever, no goodbye remained the same. Walked through days of pride and silence. We carried burdens in our hands, thinking moments lasted always, building castles made of sand. Some became strong, some became famous, some were wounded deep inside. But when the evening closes softly, only truth remains alive. And every title falls away, every victory becomes dust. Only what was born in kindness crosses every world with us. No soul belongs to another, no heart was made incomplete. But love becomes more beautiful when two free spirits meet. We are united beyond the earth, beyond the years, and all the pain. What was built in truth remains forever. Love returns again and again. No change, no destiny forced upon us, only hearts learning to become light. And somewhere beyond this life, we recognize each other by peace inside. Enemies become reflections. Old resentments lose their voice. And the things that once divided disappear before new choice. What looked impossible in life becomes so small from heaven's view. And those who once walked far from mercy find a brighter road break through. Nothing holy comes from hatred. Nothing eternal comes from pride. Every spirit keeps ascending, leaving darker days behind. Father, teach me to love without possession. Teach me not to hold people with fear. If someone leaves, let me bless them. If someone returns, let me welcome them. Remove from me the illusion that love means ownership. Help me become someone worthy of walking beside others, not controlling them. And if there are souls I once hurt, give me courage to repair. And if there are souls who hurt me, give me freedom to forgive. Because I know nothing pure is ever truly lost. Amen. As halves unfinished, we will meet as complete souls, as friends. Love does not disappear. It becomes clearer. In every age, the world is changing. In every hand, a law is drawn. But deeper than the rules of nations, there is a truth that carries on. For what is just begins in silence. Before it takes a written name. And only hearts that seek true wisdom can recognize the flame. I watch the world build walls of order, and call it justice, call it right. But time revealed what was imperfect in laws that only serve structure. A deeper order gently stays. Not written by the hands of power, but by eternal, quiet ways. The law of God is not unstable. It does not bend with fear or pride, but human hands must learn its meaning to walk where truth resides. When law becomes like light descending, it ceases chains and starts to guide. No longer born from force or conquest, but from the truth no time can hide. And as the world keeps slowly learning what justice truly means to be, the heart of a man begins returning to what was always meant to be free. The strong once shaped the rules around them and called it order, called it fate. Yeah. But every age that seeks compassion will learn to rewrite what was hate. For every law that harms the spirit will fade when conscience comes alive. And only those aligned with kindness will truly learn to thrive. No code survives without its purpose. No system stands without its soul. And slowly all creation moves us toward a higher goal. When law becomes like light descending, it ceases chains and starts to guide. No longer born from force or conquest, but from the truth no time can hide. And as the world keeps slowly learning what justice truly means to be, the heart of man begins returning to what was always meant to be free. Not every law is born of wisdom. Not every rule reflects the sky, but truth will rise above distortion, no matter how or why. And those who seek the path of justice will feel it growing from within. A quiet voice that does not falter, where real life begins. When law becomes like light descending, but the human heart will understand that justice is not made in power, but in the soul of man. And every step toward true compassion is every step toward divine. Where human law meets sacred order, the world begins to shine. And what was written becomes alive. The highest kneels first, the brightest serves first. What rises in heaven is not what rose on earth. No throne remains forever. No name can cross the sky. Only the humble heart learns how to truly fly. I spend my days counting crowns, measuring voices, chasing places above others, thinking greatness was being seen. But heaven opened differently. No golden titles, no applause remained. Only the light inside each soul. And I heard a whisper saying, you brought your victories, but where is your kindness? You brought your position, but where is your mercy? Every mountain becomes dust, every metal becomes silence. Only love remains standing. The highest kneels first, the strongest bends low. The soul that learns surrender becomes the one that grows. No power greater than goodness, no authority greater than grace. Those who forget themselves find their rightful place. Some arrive carrying names, others arrive carrying peace. And heaven knew the difference. One soul had conquered cities, another had healed wounds. Only one carried light. I saw no servants there, only brothers becoming brighter. No voices competing, only truth. Father, if pride still lives inside me, take away what blinds me. Teach me to bow before goodness, before life teaches me by force. Do not let me seek importance and lose eternity. If I must become smaller to become more like you, then let it happen. Lead me where titles disappear and only love remains. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the highest kneels first, the last may become first. Your kingdom is not measured by what the world calls worth. Raise what is humble, break what is vain. Teach my soul forever that heaven does not crown power. Heaven crowns love. And when my name becomes silence, may my light still remain. Yeah. Oh. Not every prayer is spoken. Not every cry becomes a sound. Some rise quietly from the soul and still are heard in heaven. Yeah. I thought the longest words were stronger, that heaven listened to repeated lines. But in the silence of surrender, I found your heart was seeking mine. No hidden language, no perfect sentence, only truth inside the chest. And suddenly I understood that love was speaking best. You never counted empty phrases, you always searched the flame. And even broken voices were beautiful when they came. Let my prayer reach heaven, not by volume, not by form, but by faith, by honest longing, by a soul becoming warm. Teach me not to speak for appearance, teach me not to kneel in pride. May my prayer become a doorway where your presence lives inside. I ask for roads to change before me, for storms to disappear, but you answered in another way. You placed new courage here. And when my strength became too fragile, when answers seemed delayed, I learned the miracle I needed was not escape, but being remade. The sky did not move around me, yet something changed within. And slowly I discovered that peace itself can win. Let my prayer reach heaven, not by volume, not by form, but by faith, by honest longing, by a soul becoming warm. Teach me not to speak for appearance, teach me not to kneel in pride. May my prayer become a doorway where your presence lives inside. For those who left before me, I send remembrance and light. For those who walk in darkness, I whisper hope tonight. No prayer given in compassion disappears into the air. Every act of love in presence leaves heaven somewhere there. Let my prayer become thanksgiving, let my prayer become repair. If my lips grow tired, let my life itself declare. And when I cannot find the language, when tears are all I own, receive the prayer inside my silence and remind me I am never alone. The deepest prayer was never noise, it was the soul turning toward